The Italian campaign of World War II, spanning from July 1943 to May 1945, was a critical yet often overlooked series of Allied military operations aimed at removing fascist Italy and weakening Nazi Germany's southern defenses. Stretching from the sun-scorched beaches of Sicily to the snowy peaks of the northern Apennines, the campaign was marked by fierce battles, grueling terrain and high casualties. Though it did not deliver the rapid breakthrough some Allied leaders had hoped for, the Italian campaign played a key role in the overall Allied victory in Europe. Background: why Italy? By mid-1943, the Allies had gained momentum in North Africa with the defeat of Axis forces in Tunisia. The next step in their strategy was to invade southern Europe. Italy, ruled by Benito Mussolini, had been a key member of the Axis powers, and the Allies hoped that invading the Italian mainland would knock Italy out of the war, removing a key Axis partner, divert German troops from the Eastern Front and France, gain control of the Mediterranean, easing supply routes, open a new front in Europe, pressuring Germany from the south. The invasion of Sicily. The campaign began with Operation Husky on July 10, 1943, a massive amphibious and airborne assault on the island of Sicily by American and British forces under General Dwight D. Eisenhower. Commanders like George S. Patton and Bernard Montgomery led separate army groups in a fast but challenging campaign. Despite strong resistance from German and Italian troops, the Allies captured Sicily in about 5 weeks. The success led to the collapse of Mussolini's regime. On July 25, 1943, he was overthrown and arrested by the Italian King Victor Emmanuel III. The fall of Mussolini and Italy's surrender. After Mussolini's fall, Italy sought to exit the war. On September 8, 1943, the new Italian government signed an armistice with the Allies. However, Germany quickly moved to occupy northern and central Italy, disarming Italian troops and establishing a puppet regime with Mussolini as a figurehead. The Italian campaign now turned into a bitter fight against German forces, who had turned Italy into a fortified battleground. The invasion of mainland Italy. The Allied landings on the Italian mainland began on September 3, 1943, at Reggio Calabria, and more significantly at Salerno on September 9. Progress was slow and costly. German forces, under Field Marshal Albert Kesselring, skillfully used Italy's mountainous terrain to delay the Allies. The Germans established several defensive lines across the peninsula, the most formidable being the Gustav Line. The Battle of Monte Cassino. One of the most infamous and grueling battles of the campaign was the Battle of Monte Cassino, fought between January and May 1944. The ancient Benedictine abbey atop Monte Cassino overlooked the path to Rome and was central to the Gustav Line. After 4 major assaults and enormous casualties on both sides, the Allies finally broke through, helped by the multinational Polish II Corps, who raised their flag over the ruined monastery. This victory opened the road to Rome. The liberation of Rome. On June 4, 1944, Allied forces entered Rome, the first Axis capital to fall. The victory was strategically and symbolically important, though it was quickly overshadowed by the D-Day landings in Normandy 2 days later. Nonetheless, the Italian front continued to draw German forces away from France and the Eastern Front. Fighting in northern Italy. Despite the fall of Rome, the war in Italy was far from over. German forces retreated to the Gothic Line, another formidable defensive position in the Apennine Mountains. The Allies continued to fight their way north through harsh terrain, rain and snow. Italian partisans, many of them anti-fascists, played a significant role in guerrilla warfare against the Nazis and their collaborators. In April 1945, the Allies launched their final offensive in northern Italy. As they pushed into the Po Valley, German resistance collapsed. On April 28, Benito Mussolini was captured and executed by partisans while trying to flee. Germany officially surrendered in Italy on May 2, 1945, just days before the war ended in Europe. Casualties and legacy. The Italian campaign was long, difficult, and costly. Over 320,000 Allied casualties, including more than 60,000 killed. Over 336,000 German casualties, and tens of thousands of Italian losses. Thousands of Italian civilians were killed in bombings, reprisals, and battles. The campaign delayed the Allied push into Germany but weakened Axis forces across Europe. It also demonstrated the determination of both Allied troops and the Italian resistance in the fight for liberation. Conclusion. The Italian campaign was a hard-fought and strategically complex chapter of World War II. Though it lacked the glamour of D-Day or the decisive impact of the Eastern Front, it played a crucial role in wearing down the Axis and liberating southern Europe. The bravery of soldiers and partisans alike, fighting through mud, mountains and minefields, ensured that the road to victory in Europe would not go through France alone, but also through the heart of Italy.